Our pace of living leaves us little time for leisure. Our program will give you a chance to experience the fascinating world of traveling, extreme adventures, hunting and fishing. Each week we will take you to the most beautiful places of Kazakhstan. "20 years ago, none of us could imagine hunting in South Africa would be possible. This country has always been a desired destination for many hunters. Today, a trip to South Africa is affordable for nearly any traveler. A hunting permission for shooting 5 wild animals on the African continent costs 2,400 euros. African outfitters had vague ideas about Kazakhstan until recently, but today there is genuine interest among them in the Kazakhstani tourist market. We have been lucky to have an opportunity to hunt in Camp Masada Lodge at the private Burchell Game Reserve. The hunting site was chosen on purpose. Frontier Safaris has gained excellent reputation worldwide for over 100 years of running the game reserve. The fact that such famous people as Sir Winston Churchill and John Fitzgerald Kennedy were here tells itself about the site. The dynasty of the Burchells has been keeping a Mauser made in 1895 and a 7mm gun that belonged to David Burchell as a family heritage. David went through the Anglo-Boer War with this weapon in 1899 when crossing the Transvaal River, and at the end of the war he used the gun to protect his cabin from the warlike Zulus tribes as well as from lions and leopards. In the 1930s, his son started to turn his rancho from breeding cattle to hunting tourism and left his children a lucrative business of organizing safaris. Current owner of the rancho, Barry Burchell, has developed it to a chain of tourist hunting sites in Namibia, Zimbabwe and with fishing sites on the coast of the Indian Ocean. A game reserve, in our understanding, is an isolated area with wild animals in their natural habitat, but in fact it's a hunting area of 25,000 hectares. It is situated in the region of Elika Dale in the Eastern Cape province. This is the main territory of the people of Kazakh that were ancestors of many famous South Africans, including Nelson Mandela and Thabo Mbeki. Today, safari is a lucrative economic cluster in the province that has provided tens of thousands of local people with jobs. Game reserves here are a private property. They are separated with fences, and all wild animals inhabiting the area belong to the owners of the game reserve. Terms and conditions of hunting are not regulated by authorities, except for a few species that are going extinct. For example, at the Burchell Game Reserve, hunting for the leopard and a few species of predator birds is prohibited. Every year, trophy hunters come here to hunt for about 1,000 hoofed species. What a number! Each year, on the 25,000 hectares, more trophy hunts are held than on the territory of 234 hectares of hunting areas in Kazakhstan. South African nights are very dark. The dawn breaks quickly here though. As soon as it breaks, the sun like a bowling ball rises. At 5:30 am we have breakfast. The breakfast can be compared to that of a good hotel. There are 5 to 6 main dishes and a dozen kinds of snacks. Although I try to abstain from abundant food in the morning, I really feel like trying every kind of food on the table here. In September, the hot and sunny Africa is quite chilly. In the morning, the windows of our car sweat and people wrap in warm clothes. The rancho is at the 33rd parallel. The weather is like in the spring in Kazakhstan. Although the vegetative period lasts all the year round, in September the plants here prepare to bloom and the animals prepare to give birth to their young. In the morning, Johans and Armin, invited hunting experts, give us guns. Maxim gets a Mauser M12 caliber 300 Win Mag. Before the actual hunt, experts from Germany, Russia, Czech Republic and Kazakhstan do a shooting test. which is mandatory for every participant of the hunt. Having got to know the other fellow hunters, we get less confident. It turns out that we are the only participants who don't have any hunting awards or prizes in shooting. But confidence returns to Maxim after his first shots. At 100, 200, 300 and 400 meters, the good old 300 caliber gun with evolution bullets doesn't let him down. The deviation is no more than 6 centimeters, which would not be enough in sport, but it will do in hunting. Our supervisors are a small but well-built guy called Dion and quick tracker Maccabi. From the very beginning, every hunter is under supervision of one of PHs. Our modest hunting package includes 2 trophy animals, a kudu, a blesbok, plus 3 kinds of species planned to shoot to control their population. For a start, we choose a warthog, as these animals are similar to our wild boar, and this will allow us to get used to the pace of the hunt. Okay, warthog, good gastronomy. Dion approves our choice. His Land Cruiser dodges slowly through thick bushes, where we can hardly ever see the mountain road. Along with Maccabi, we look around the site. The tracker's eyesight is incredible. He can see any animal moving at a distance without any binoculars. As soon as he sees an animal, he taps on the car roof and Dion stops. We scan the site through our binoculars to see the animal where the tracker is pointing. When we nearly give up, we notice the tips of the gemsbok. There are more than 30 kinds of hoofed species in the pack. We could recognize most of them from familiar pictures in our childhood, but spotting them in thick bushes at a distance is extremely difficult. Of course, the wild beast, zebra and giraffe are exceptions. What is the total number of the animals? We asked Dion. They are hard to count, probably 20,000. 20,000 species on 2,500 hectares is an impressive ratio, and these animals are large. For instance, the eland weighs half a ton, the wild beast weighs 300 kilograms. The giraffe and African buffalo are up to a ton each. It has a huge grazing effect. It's too big even for livestock for the place. There is the term capacity of the hunting grounds, explains Dion. For wild animals it's higher than for livestock because wild animals occupy different ecological niches. For instance, the giraffe eats tree branches and sprouts. Wild boar digs for plant roots. Different kinds of antelopes live on vegetation at different heights. Wild hoofed species always migrate, so that the grass is eaten evenly across all the territory. In contrast, sheep and cows may destroy the vegetation. It is well worth noticing that the park borders another game reserve in the east, and on the west it has a common border with a farm. The difference between the grass on both sides of the fence is significant. On the side of the farm, sheep ramble across the scarce savanna, and on the side of the game reserve there is high grass up to our waist. Does your neighbor have wild animals on their territory? Of course not. He doesn't need them. His land isn't a hunting area. Is it possible to manage hunting and farming on the same territory? I don't know, replies the puzzled Dion. I haven't seen this. Which is more profitable, hunting or breeding cattle? Of course hunting. It's not easy. One needs pure professionalism, so that rich people will come and pay good money. One will also need a good hotel, good cuisine and well-trained, devoted staff. You will have to set up things in such a way that the client is happy. You will have to spend on advertising and participate in international exhibitions. And most importantly, you need to do these things very well. For some, it's a lot easier to breed sheep. And what kind of punishment is there for a poacher? From 6 months to 3 years in prison. We are a democratic society, but in some African states, rangers have the right to shoot poachers when caught. We are not allowed to do it. We go through the bushes towards a small lake, where a grunting noise is coming. We stay still. Then we see a silhouette of a warthog. The animal realizes that something is going wrong and starts breathing noisily. I have to aim in an upright position. During 3 days we have nearly managed to do everything we planned according to the package. We got 2 blast box and an impala, but the agile kudu was still elusive. Once at the sunset, Dion spotted a large male kudu. That time we were lucky with the direction of the wind, which let us remain unnoticeable with the sun shining from our backs. Maccabi starts creeping silently like a minx, and soon we see the huge horns of the male kudu between the trees. The kudu is a large antelope that weighs up to 300 kilograms. It inhabits mountains and forests. Males are very cautious and live in solitude in the thickest bushes, where they are very difficult to spot. Special optics is required when hunting for them, which is quite expensive, but for those keen on trophy hunting, binoculars are the last thing they should economize on. A trophy kudu is hard to get in the African savanna, but not for hunters who have hunted for ibexes on the slopes of Chanshan. This is not impossible. Before choosing the trophy animal, our PH Dion takes time looking at a few other kudu males. They have trophy horns, but for some reason he doesn't find them good enough. When we asked him why they are not suitable, he said that they are young sires. First we didn't pay attention to his words, but then we understood that we eyewitnessed how the hunting and wildlife management works. Every year, about 800 cases of hunting in Burchell Park are selective. That is, the targets of hunting are not young males of the productive age, but older species. One has to be skillful and experienced to tell the age of the animal.
Результаты совместной работы PH и охотников потрясают, потому что
The results of the cooperative hunt of PHs and hunters are impressive because every member of the hunting team, even amateurs and beginner hunters, have got the trophies according to the packages they bought. We call packages a permission to hunt for a certain number and kinds of species during a limited amount of time when in the safari. South Africa is an ideal place for beginner hunters where they can start trophy hunting. Good wages of professional hunters imply these people have not only good hunting skills and the ability to establish good rapport with the client, but also some good knowledge in zoology. If the PH shoots and brings a first-rank sire, the owner of the rancho will not approve that. Probably the PH will be fired for the unprofessional conducting of his duties. I'm impressed with the number of wild animals here. We have seen herds of blastboks of 60, 80 and even 100 species in each. We've seen large herds of gnus. If you're thinking of coming to frontier safaris, you won't be sorry. Having had interesting conversation, we haven't noticed that we reached the camping. Young women from a neighboring village have organized a real celebration. Their passionate exotic dancing to the sounds of the national tambourines made the expatriate hunters open their wallets to tip the girls with a couple of $10 notes. The art of organizing service and entertainment is an important part of the hunting culture, not less important than breeding and selecting wild animals with their trophy qualities.